to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good day to you. Yeah, well, do you know what? As you know, I'm fine. I'm just having one of those days where none of my hardware wants to play ball at all, seemingly. But yeah, apart from that, doing okay. How was your weekend?
All good. Yes, all good. I was working, but I'm back in the studio. Excited to do a little fireside chat to you. How are you doing?
There we go.
Generally,
yes. Just generally, I'm very tired.
Yes.
There's some other stuff that I'm working on, which is exciting. But it's. I think maybe I'm busy creating jobs for myself. Which is, I'm in that zone.
Shocker, Tom. Shocker.
I know. But yeah, other than that, no, I'm good actually. And what about you?
Oh, good. Yes.
Good.
But we've got a short one today because we're both up against it, and
we are.
I want to jump into what we're going to discuss on the show
quickly. I feel like actually before we jump into any of the content, we should address the fact that we are now. If you can imagine putting that click in about 5 episodes back, we're now in color. But we realized actually the other day we never addressed it. So here we are in glorious color. I don't know if we're allowed
all those people who thought we were actually black and white.
I know. We were the monochrome brothers, weren't we?
Yeah.
But apparently, sadly, no.
We've
no
caught
more.
up, and we're now in the 20th century.
This is it. It's amazing. I feel like we missed a trick though, and we should have done like a Scooby-Doo kind of like reveal into color.
Or just skipped this whole color bit and gone straight into AI avatars.
Oh, let's do that. I'll build one and everything will be fine. Nobody at home will have any clue.
No.
Unless they're watching or listening, obviously. So
yes. So for listeners, nothing's changed.
Right.
We still sound
we
in black and white, but we're actually in color.
Just about.
Okay. So that aside, you mentioned off air very quickly, you were saying there's something you've done this week. You've made one small change that has made your life immeasurably better.
Yes.
What was it?
I
might be overstating that.
No, it really has. For years, I work on multiple computers at the same time, and I've put in a movable laptop thing, but it's low. So right. it doesn't it's not one of these big like army things. And I bought it and it did come with the big army things. And I chopped it down with a hacksaw. Right. And now I'm able to kind of work on my computers. And then when I don't want them in the way, I could just shift them over there. And that has been a £35, kind of thing that I've just loved.
So you're running a Mac Studio or something, are you? And then you've got your MacBook Pro just in case you get bored.
So I got the Mac Studio here, and then I got the big 32-inch XDR display, and then the laptop is because I'm working on lots of different things right now, and so that the laptop is basically doing some other heavy lifting on something else. But I'm then also able to kind of like keep an eye on my emails and stuff while I'm running on that. I don't really like running multiple monitors on this desk because there isn't room for it. I've got some really big speakers either side of the monitor.
You get a lot of people now that are getting kind of Mac Minis or Mac Studios and running them for AI stuff as well, don't you?
They're super capable. They're brilliant machines. I've got the M1 Ultra Studio here, and it is still it's brilliant. It's the best computer I've ever owned. That one.
And that's an M1 chip.
It's the M1 Ultra, yeah. So it was when they bashed. I think they basically fused 2 of the M1 Maxes together to become the Ultra.
The Maxes.
And it's been I've been so happy with it. And then
talk to me about chips. What's the difference then? Like when we're looking at an M5 these days, because I'm in the market for a new laptop just because I've got an M1, standard M1, I think. I can't remember. But it is a bit long in the tooth now, 5 years, which is kind of your standard Mac life. What am I looking at when I'm looking at an M5 versus an M4 and an M3 and an M2?
Well, what are you putting through it? Like I
M1
assume,
Max.
Here's the thing. I'm still running an M1 Max laptop. I too maybe feel like it's slightly long in the tooth, but actually it's still going great. Battery health has dropped to like 85%, so that's not great. But for most of the things that I do, it's still totally fine. It just chews through.
That's why I ask, because I kind of go, well, how much better can an M5 chip be?
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like there is some serious performance upgrades, but the M1 was such a great chip.
Yeah.
Like move the jump up to Apple Silicon from Intel was just, absolutely, seismic, really, as far as performance gains go. M1 was just an amazing jumping off point. And then I think it was incremental. M3 and M4, I think, were a big jump. And then I think M5 was maybe slightly more incremental as well. But I now probably wouldn't buy the latest and greatest because they're tools and they get bashed around. I think I would probably maybe save a bit of money and buy a refurbished M4 Max if I can find one in the refurbished Apple thing that basically is the spec I'm after, because it's quite an unusual spec, I think, that I'm after, so they don't come up too often. But yeah, I've got
unusual spec. What would you need it to be?
It's sorry, when I say unusual spec, I don't mean like exotic. I mean just high spec.
I only can have it in Tiger Stripe.
No, I mean I would obviously be down for that. No, but the spec I would need is like a very high spec. Probably 128 gig of RAM, maybe a 4 terabyte SSD. And
you
most
still rate the RAM over because obviously when you're kitting them out, you've got your RAM versus your cores. And it all starts to melt in my head. My head starts to melt when I look at the options.
Mac Rumors, the website Mac Rumors, they put out a very, very, very good guide about how much RAM do you actually need. It's whenever you're looking at buying a new laptop, it is absolutely worth looking at that because it is a brilliant, simple breakdown of, do you need that amount of RAM? Likely not.
Well, we will link to that.
Yeah,
in the show notes.
It's a very, very good piece, actually. It's a few years old, so I don't know how relevant it is, but I would imagine things don't change too much.
If you're looking to update your 3.5-inch floppy, is that the gist of it?
Have you just turned on VoiceOver?
No.
No, yeah, but that's basically it. Yeah, and if you do need to go up to a 5-inch floppy. Did they ever make them? It was 2.5.
CD-ROM, didn't they jump to?
CD-ROMs. Love them. Miss them greatly. But yeah, no, I think it's a good article to read should you think about upgrading. The thing is also for me is I just don't know how much I buy into the hyper buying new stuff now anymore. Because they get trashed with me. Because I'm always like quickly, we're quickly moving, or I'm like set up on the floor in a garage, or I'm just quickly chucking it in the backpack without, they get absolutely wrecked. Yeah. So I would maybe look into that, because I don't know what the difference truly would be between the M4 and the M5. For me, I know there's obviously a performance increase. How much of that is marketing hype? I don't know, arguable. But the thing for me is my laptop genuinely not functioning anymore? Is the battery life and the battery health now such a problem that I do need a new machine?
Yeah.
And then at that point, I think you and I would also have a discussion about size.
Yeah.
Like we always do. And the thing for me is I've got people who'll tell me they won't work with me if I provide a 14-inch laptop.
Wow.
Sam. And I also feel the need to be shrinking and reducing everything still on the kit. And you and I both travel a lot. You travel more than me. Sorry. So I think that maybe...
Yeah, for me, I've always stuck with a smaller sized laptop because in the studio, two monitors running off of it, so it doesn't matter. But when I'm working out and about, I don't want something big and bulky.
Yeah, I think I'm now there with you, because also whenever I'm working on a location to the point where I have a Digi and stuff, there's always extra monitors.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know how much the size of the actual machine matters.
Yeah, I would love to get to the point where I felt like I could travel purely with an iPad. But I think that's probably quite a way off, just because of the way it works with post-production and what have you on jobs. And especially when I travel and I'm then having to deliver images from a previous job, etc., etc. It's
I mean, a laptop's always going to beat that for me anyway, because I just feel like, especially if you just need to quickly whip over here and quickly do some emails and you're exporting that in the background, it's nothing beats a powerful laptop.
Yeah.
So, but listen, you mentioned an iPad.
Yes. No, I bought a new iPad M4. Well, not new, secondhand. I went refurbed as well because I figured I didn't need a brand new one. Partly because I've been using Capture One quite a lot to shoot with on location. I was interested to see how, my previous model was an M1 iPad Pro M1, but I'd be interested to see how the new or newer M4 chip.
Have you used it yet?
No, it is plugged in, charging. It only arrived today.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, keep us updated. I'd like to know.
It has a nano texture screen, so I'm interested in that as well, because I had to remove my screen protector, which was a very nice matte screen protector that I had on my iPad, in order for it to sit in the LSTG plate. Right. Because the plate was causing the very corners of the cover to ruck. And I tried putting a new cover on and cutting cutouts and stuff, and it just didn't look very good. It's very hard to cut those things well.
Yes.
So the nano screen will, because I use my iPad as a portfolio, as a secondary portfolio, alongside my print book. And I have some meetings later this week, so I figured now was the time to jump and invest.
Yep. No, I think that's very sensible. I'll be interested to see if you do see a performance jump with Capture One.
Using Capture, yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
So we've got a couple of other things to discuss, haven't we? First off, I'd like to talk about your friend Jeff.
Oh, good old Jeff. Yeah, me and Jeff. Mr. Bridges.
Mr. Bridges.
To you. So, no, this is the story about the revitalized WideLuxx. Now, I have been in talks with Silver Grey Classics, which is the people behind this new WideLuxx project. I'd love to get somebody on the show to talk about what exactly it is what are they thinking? But basically, they have brought out a brand new WideLuxx. So when the old WideLuxx kind of disappeared, the factory unfortunately also disappeared. So it's a bit like the Polaroid story. A lot of the manufacturing of Polaroid, for example, just got lost, the kind of chemistry and what have you. And when Impossible Projects first started doing Polaroid, they had to kind of reinvent all of that stuff and use people that had worked previously at Polaroid to try and bring in their knowledge and try and reverse engineer. And that's exactly what happened with the WideLuxx. They basically didn't have any blueprints for the WideLuxx, a new WideLuxx that they wanted to bring out. So they've had to take an old F8, which was the last version of the WideLuxx, I believe, and reverse engineer it. Now, if you've ever taken apart a WideLuxx, which I'd say don't, it's just cogs and springs, basically. It's all clockwork. And so quite a big job. They managed to do it. They now have this prototype that they've just launched called the WideLuxx.
With two X's.
Two X's. But that was the
Got it.
bit. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure that's how you meant to say it.
Sure.
And it's going to be interesting because they've changed some materials for the components, supposedly made them a bit tougher and more resilient. I was in talks about getting my one serviced by them, and they were saying, well, we're potentially down the road going to offer the chance to service older WideLuxxes and replace certain components to kind of improve
with more modern parts. Wow,
yeah,
okay.
To improve them. I don't think that's something they're doing just yet, but potentially that's down the road. So it's exciting. It's not cheap, but then again, buying a WideLuxx secondhand these days isn't cheap. It's a unique camera.
How much does a WideLuxx set you back?
If you were to buy one secondhand now, you'd probably be looking at a couple of grand, I guess.
Okay.
The new one, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was upwards of 2.5.
It's more.
Is it? Yeah. 3.5?
It's a bit more.
3,250
plus import, plus shipping, plus there's also in the first batch, which I think is 400 or 450 units. Am I right?
Right. Of which there's only 77 left, apparently, as of today.
You have to get it. Well, they've sold quite a few then, because I only saw that the other day. Actually, how many units is it? 354 or 450?
350.
350, right. So in the initial batch, you also have to get it engraved.
Right.
So you have to get it engraved with your initials, or whatever you want, obviously. But that is a nice little touch. I would quite like that.
Yeah, I've always wanted my name emblazoned on my camera.
I did it once on a Nikon FM2. I took it to an engraver's who absolutely butchered my old logo into the prism on the front, and then I hated it so much I sold it.
I thought you were going to say engraved it onto the ground glass.
No, that would have been a far better solution. No, the engraver
or
took
the lens,
just straight over. Why is it so soft? Oh, just some logo.
It's a permanent watermark feature.
No, the engraver did such a bad job. He used one of those Amazon £5 spinny ball etcher things, and I was too young.
An Etch-a-Sketch
to kick off about it. Honestly, it would have been a better result. So it was shocking. So somewhere out there in the ether is a Nikon FM2 with my old logo butchered into the top of it,
written on it in child's-like Etch-a-Sketch font.
Honestly, it's basically that. Yeah, it was shocking, crushing, because I love that camera as well.
Well, I'm assuming that's not what WideLuxx are going to be doing. Oh, sorry, WideLuxx are going to be doing.
No, I'm sure by the looks of it. I will say their model looks very beautiful.
I feel like they did miss a trick. I feel like they should have put an extra X on, so it was like a triple X, and then it could have been a bit, you could have gone down the whole saucy route for the WideLuxx marketing. We could have been talking about triple X WideLuxxes.
We could have been. I'm sure they'll engrave one extra for you.
So that's a new development in the kind of film world. There's also something else I wanted to talk about, which is a program called I'm Back. And now I'm Back is a Kickstarter campaign. Apparently it's raised over $1 million.
Hang on, I'm Back. Wasn't this from years and years ago?
Well, years and years ago, there was an April Fool's joke, I remember, which was basically someone saying that they'd invented a film canister that you could put in any film camera and it would make it into a digital camera by kind of, they worked out how to reduce the sensor so that you could put it into basically a film canister. That seems to now have become a reality several years later.
Love it.
Now they've made a prototype for a 4/3 sensor. They haven't made a full frame prototype that I'm aware of, but they are planning to use this Sony APS-C high resolution sensor in there.
Okay.
It's also billed as having 256 gigabytes of internal SSD memory, and it is basically a film canister that you can put into pretty much any film camera.
How does it communicate with the camera? How does it know that there's going to be a shot taken?
So they've had to develop a new shutter that you screw into the threaded shutters on most old film cameras have a threaded shutter so that you can put in a cable release, an old style cable release. So they've had to develop a secondary shutter that you screw into that gives the electronic signal to basically trip the actual, the sensor.
Okay.
So I think it's still very much prototype-y, but there are pictures from the prototype that they did with the 4/3.
What do they look like?
Hard to say because they're, I've only seen low res versions. We'll link to, there's quite a good article on Petapixel about it, which kind of gives you a bit of background. I mean, it would be an exciting thing to see, I think. I mean, if it can be developed and it works, it would be exciting to then see whether or not they can take that further and develop one for, 120 film.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that would love to get their old Hasselblads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Or, a rolly cord like myself to be able to use it for digital. Because the whole point of it is you can take this item out and carry on using it again for most cameras. So most cameras will be compatible. There's some cameras where you might need to remove certain plates and stuff in the back for this whole thing to work. But I think most cameras you'd be able to remove it and then just put film back in and shoot film. But I do think it'd be fascinating because it would kind of, I think there is that love of. I mean, there's lots of arguments you could have, like what's the point of shooting digital on a film camera, and I do get that. But if it's something that's not permanently just changing it, then it's kind of a cool idea.
No, I think it's a great idea, and without being funny, like just the costs involved in shooting film, without being funny, me as a full-time photographer, I don't really bother. I got a bloody roll of film tattooed through my neck. That's how much I used to love it. And like, it's not, just the sheer cost, just balloon.
Yeah. You've still never had that roll processed, though, have you? So it's just...
No, I haven't, and I dread to think
God knows what's on it. Yeah,
quite. I know I'd end up with loads of stickers.
Oh dear. Right. So, but I think it's kind of it's interesting to see what happens with that. I think it's watch this space. Won't be coming out this year. Potentially 2027.
Do we feel like this is going to be a Kickstarter that actually like comes to fruition, or? Because there are Kickstarters that I have backed. Where is this one? I have backed one, which is one of my favorite things ever.
Is this your light meter?
Love it. Yeah. Absolutely love it. So that's actually a custom one because Matt at Revenue Labs, who I feel like we should get on the show, he's just like a brilliant guy. And that is, I mean, look how tiny that is. Absolutely mini. But the I would hate for it to fail, because this actually sounds like a really fun idea. Yeah.
It could be really good. I think I like the concept behind it anyway. So I wish them every success with making it work.
No, absolutely, 100%. And we'll obviously link to that Kickstarter as well. When does it finish?
Oh, very good question. So let's just launch it up. I have not backed this, by the way.
Yes, and obviously
10 days to go, and not to spoil the magic, but we're recording this at the beginning of May, so we're talking kind of 15th of May. Looks like that's when that's up.
But at time of recording, it has raised £703,552, pledged of a £33,000 goal.
Yeah, which is over $1 million.
So that does kind of. That's quite cool. I mean, I love the idea of it. I think it's brilliant. And if they can make it happen, I'd probably end up getting one.
Yeah.
But as with all crowdfunding things, having had my fingers burnt by what 3 words now multiple times, I would obviously strongly suggest you do your research and be prepared to lose all your money.
He tells me after I've just kickstarted a light stand. Damn it.
We should talk about that. So you've just kickstarted a light stand.
I have. I'd kind of forgotten about it until you mentioned it. Until you mentioned Kickstarter, or I mentioned Kickstarter.
They've been in touch, have they? That regularly?
Yeah. That's the weird thing about Kickstarter, isn't it? You back something and then you kind of forget about it, and then you suddenly go, "Oh yeah." I did that with Peak Design, and I kind of realized that they had emailed me months before being like, send us your updated shipping address. I was like, why hasn't that arrived?
Yes. Oh, quickly, while we're talking about Peak Design, do you know what they do?
And make bags.
So full disclosure, Peak Design sent me one of their lovely rollers, and I love it pretty much with all my heart. Genuine, no shade. It's a brilliant thing, which has taken a huge amount of weight off my back. So my back is now feeling better. But so they did send me that. But this is also the tool pouch that we've used for. I mean, I think you've used them for years. I've used them for years as well.
Yes.
They now do a smaller version.
Right.
And so it's the same length, but it's not quite as wide. And it nicely like tucks in to the camera bag. And it's a nice way of keeping like little items. Like I keep my triggers, my batteries, and my light meters and stuff in there. And it's a nice way of keeping all the little bits, in somewhere. I was quite pleased with it. Anyway, just thought I should mention.
I don't actually use mine that much of that particular, but I do love a lot of their stuff. I really do. I've actually got, I'll talk about that on the next fireside, but I've got something coming up. I'll talk about that on the next fireside.
Oh, that's exciting. Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did get, which is like completely over the top, and just because I've always wanted one?
A pink wig?
No,
Oh,
I got one of their big 80-litre duffels.
Wow. Who are you keeping in that?
80 litres.
80.
Obviously.
Right. I mean, those the duffels are nice. They look nice. I do have to say, I'm not a big duffel user day to day, and the last thing you really need to be making or enticing me towards is bags, Tom.
Sorry, yeah, I know. It's a problem. I do actually have one of their little 35-litre duffels as well.
Yeah,
because when you're flying, having a second bag, that actually is like a perfect thing to stick all your bags of sweets in. So, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, listen, guys, I fly in a very different way to a lot of you.
Leave a lot more questions than answers.
100%. I fly an empty bag out with me on a lot of trips because, flying it back tends to be quite cheap, really, if you buy it in advance or depending on what level you're flying. And, I was in Malaysia last year or year before, and I started doing this, and I flew out like an empty duffel, and I just chucked in it loads of bags of
drugs,
crisps. No, crisps.
I'm sorry.
Good Lord. No, and I'd found loads of like crisps, and I flew back some tom yum paste and like some sweets that were delicious, and yeah, it was a nice thing to do.
Sat on the plane, go nom 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 the whole way back.
I genuinely was rather hoping that everyone's noise cancelling headphones would have blocked out the sound effects of me eating, but I'm glad now that all the listeners know that I don't
the noise
just
you make when you eat snacks.
I sound like a Muppet. I mean, and then I'm eating. So, but yeah, no. Dear. So I mean, listen. So the I'm Back stuff, I really wish them the best with it. I think it's going to be great. The WideLuxx stuff, I feel like I kind of really want one. And do you know who's to blame for that?
Who?
You. Because every time every time I see one of your shots on the WideLuxx, I'm like, that does look great, doesn't it? Like
it's a fun camera. It's a fun camera to use.
I feel like it's like an anomaly as well. It's like it's a bit of a not like a circus act of a camera, but it is like if you're going to collect cameras, you feel like you sort of want a WideLuxx, right?
Yeah, it is a one-off. I mean, you're not. There's not many other cameras that are going to be doing that level of, panorama. There's obviously the Horizon and a few other kind of copies, but the WideLuxx does give you something pretty unique. So yeah.
Well, also just a theatre. Like we took a picture on it together the other week, right? And just a theatre that you have to kind of like G people up for.
Oh yeah. We did get that.
Did that one come out? You haven't it developed?
Still on the camera, yeah.
Right, there we go.
I mean, it takes me forever to get through 21 shots. It's I took it. I was in Paris yesterday, and I had it with me, and I'm in Greece next week in Athens, and I'm going to take it, and it's going to be one of those things to try and go around and get shots of it there. It always travels with me, less so than it used to, but it is one of those cameras that it takes a long time for me to work through a film. You don't want to rush it.
No, I can imagine. I mean, I've still got film in my Hasselblad from about 5 years ago, so I really should do something with that.
Don't you throw stones at me, son.
I know. Honestly, I'm the worst for it. I swear, I got the camera about 4 years ago and then haven't shot anything since. So the camera, my Hasselblad, has had 7 rolls total put through it in its entire life. So I need to dig that out. Actually,
6 of which I buy someone else.
No, 2 of which I put 4 films through it, and he said, they'd put 2 test films through it, and then realised it was too hard for them to load. Have I told you the story of that camera?
Yes, you have.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, but
as in, yeah. Don't tell it again.
We don't have time, Tom.
No, fair. Well, that all sounds...
Although if you want to shout out to the Guildford branch of...
I probably should. Martin at Guildford Camera Exchange, London Camera Exchange. I call it the Guildford Camera Exchange because you do know it was the original branch.
Yes. Well, we met him, didn't we?
We did. We saw him at the photography show.
Yeah.
Oh, did we cut him out of the video?
We never interviewed him. He saw you and he ran the other direction.
Right. Martin, we'll have to swing in. But if you are in the area, the new Guildford London Camera Exchange has had... Oh, hang on.
Oh, they just moved, haven't they? I think that we chatted to him very briefly, or maybe... and they were talking about how they've got new premises, and it all sounded very exciting.
So, no, they've moved back into their old premises.
New old
which
premises.
they've had lots of work done to it, and I still haven't been. I really should. Sorry, Martin. But yeah, I will swing in and take a look at some point.
You should swing in and sell them the Hasselblad pack.
Well, maybe I probably would lose quite a lot of money on that now. But my favourite thing about that was always going and just looking at all the secondhand kit in the window.
Yes, yeah, that's always a joy in those shops.
It certainly is. Oh, sorry about my coughing, by the way. I don't think I'll have to cut some of it out, but my goodness, I am struggling.
Yeah, I can see. Right. Well, I think that's probably all we've got time for today. Unfortunately, it's been a quick one, but we have some great ones that are waiting to come out with guests.
We have a very unusual one next, don't we? Because it is you on your own.
It is me on my own. I was flying solo.
Yeah,
took my training wheels off.
You did. We were very impressed.
I'm mixing my metaphors there, flying and cycling. But anyway,
it's good.
Yeah. So look forward to that, and we will be back on the next one.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. See you in a bit.